All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a couple of people out there. Maybe real, maybe automated. Anyway, I'm just doing it like I normally do it here, folks. For you right there, and for me right here. All right, I'm going to be talking about how Dean Castronovo spilled the beans. He spilled the beans on Jonathan Cain and Neal Schon's relationship. Like we didn't already know, right? Check this out. Revolution Saints. This is the band that Deen is in. This just came out, and it's really good. And you know, it's interesting. I did see an article in a classic rock publication reviewing the album and saying it was good. But that's it. That's all they're going to do. They're not going to promote it. They're not going to talk about it. There won't be any super high profile interviews. There should be. I mean, radio stations should be asking Deen to be a guest, and they could ask him some questions. And of course, they wouldn't play anything off the new album, which I don't understand the world of classic rock today. Like, we're not getting tired of listening to the same songs over and over again for the last 40, in some cases 50 plus years of the same catalog. By the way, that catalog is shrinking all the time. I complain about it, and this is just the way of the world, folks. Anyway, Dean Castronovo, this juicy bit of information that he gave to a certain publication. He says, it's going to take a miracle from God to fix this, meaning the relationship between Neal Schon and Jonathan Cain. He says, I love both those guys. I've known them since I was 23. So it's hard for me to see the turmoil because they're like brothers to me. Bad English, man. Remember Bad English? That's Deen and Neal and John and the other John and I think Ricky Phillips. What a band that was, huh? And they had a number one song. Pretty cool, huh? Diane Warren song. She's like Money in the Bank. Made Aerosmith a ton of money too for the Armageddon soundtrack. And a whole bunch of other people. So there's really not much new here other than the fact that he said this thing that it's going to take a miracle from God. He says, I pray that they work everything out because this thing is beautiful. I'm sure he's talking about Journey and the fact that they're selling out gigs. And it would be kind of nice to have a good working relationship on stage. And I think those guys are professional. He goes on to talk about that they remained professional as a band. And of course, they went their separate ways once they stepped off the stage. He says, we have a job to do. We've got to go out there and play the best that we can, and we do. We leave it at the door, meaning their negativity and their disdain for each other. Now, I don't know if it's disdain, but, you know, these disagreements, which of course are legal disagreements and probably theological disagreements at this point. I'm throwing it out there. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's just, you know, people, like any relationship, they grow apart over the years. But the lawsuits keep on keeping on. You know what I mean? They're not dropping the lawsuits. When I see the lawsuits getting dropped, then, you know, these guys have realized that they've got the cash cow, the golden calf, and they're going to continue to worship the golden calf. How's that for interjecting some unique theological language? Anyway, before I go, these are the Revolution Saints. I will promote it. Classic rock, they're not going to promote it. Dean's singing his butt off. Not to mention, you got Jeff Pilson in the band, who is also still in Foreigner. Jeff Pilson was in Dawkin. He's done a bunch of other projects. I mean, this is a really cool Joel Hoekstra playing guitar. And I mean, Whitesnake, this is really good. So anyway, I'm doing my part, folks. I'm doing it alone. A heavy lifting right here. Yeah, I'm sure there are other people reviewing the Rev Saints out there and hoping that maybe somebody in the United States might put one of those songs on the radio. Imagine if you put the song Eagle Flight on a mainstream rock station, what that would do for mainstream rock. I mean, it would turn it around. It'd be like a 180. You'd be like, okay, they're actually playing something good. And there are others. There's lots of other stuff coming down the pike, which some of which I will talk about. I can't afford to buy all these albums anymore, but I am buying a few to keep this going. All right, this video, yeah, not going to keep it going for now. Thanks for supporting the channel, people. Every video I've got to say this. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Hit the bell to get notifications on new videos. Patreon, if you can support the channel via Patreon, got a lot of patrons coming on board. You guys have made up for about 8% of what I've lost. And I'm just saying that because it's true. But I love you guys because the patrons will probably keep me going. You know, even if I get down to a point where, you know, revenue is almost zero, the patron revenue will be enough probably to keep me going until I figure out, you know, what to do at that point. But then you've got also YouTube memberships, but you know, whatever you'd like to do, I appreciate it. Thanks again. God bless you all. See you soon.